Assalamualaikum and welcome back to the class of elementary mathematics class 6. Okay, so today we are going to start with our chapter 3, that means the third chapter of our book. So in the previous chapter we have talked about ratio percentages. The previous two chapters has no link with this chapter, but it has some connection with the chapter number 1 because integer is all about whole numbers. Like we have talked about only positive whole numbers in case of chapter 1. We haven't dealt with negative numbers, but in this chapter we are going to learn about negative numbers, positive numbers as well. So yes, and also here we are going to deal with only whole numbers, not any type of decimal fractions. So yes, we are going to start now. So in the lower classes we haven't talked about negative numbers, so it's a very new concept for us. So I will request you to pay your full concentration and go through the total video. And yes, let's start. So firstly we will know what we are going to learn in this chapter. So firstly, in case of in this chapter, throughout this chapter we have 3 exercises. Firstly, we will in the 3.1 we will talk about integers, that means the basic concepts about integers, that is what is actually integer, then types of integers and ordering of integers, that means the sequence by which we will arrange integers in the increasing or decreasing order. So yes, let's start. So firstly, what is integer? Since the chapter is all about integers, so it's actually mandatory on our part to know you, to make you clear about what is integer. So I have put a basic definition for integer. So any number that is not a fraction. So here our main thing to remember is that any number that is actually not a fraction or decimal, that means any whole number or its negative, that means integer is all about whole number. It's the main key point to remember. Any type of fraction like 5/2 or 6.2, this type of fractional or decimal fraction number can't be integer. But any whole number can be either positive or negative, like it can be plus 1 as well, minus 3 as well, like it can be both positive or negative, only it can't be any type of fractional number. It has to be a whole number. So yes, let's move forward. So firstly, type of integers. So we have already learned integers include any whole number or its negative. So in the first chapter we have talked all the natural number including 0 that can be expressed in the form that we actually don't express in the form of fraction or decimal, that are actually whole number. That means 0 to 9 all are whole numbers. So 0 to 9 actually are natural numbers, the numbers that can be formed like 2 digit, 3 digit, all the whole numbers were studied in that chapter. But here in types of integers we can see 3 types of integers. Basically integers can be classified into 3 types. So yes, first one is positive integers, then 0, then negative integers. So here 0 is basically neither a positive integer nor a negative integer. It's a different number but actually considered as a whole number, and since it's a whole number, it's fall in the category of integer. So basically all whole number, I am mentioning it again and again, because in your MCQ it might come that which one of the following number is integer. In your option you may get like whole number, decimal fraction, like this. So you will mark whole number. So yes, so let's move forward. So positive integer. So now we will talk about the three types of classification of integers part by part. So firstly, positive integer. So any integer is positive if it is greater than 0. So we have learned in our first chapter that in our natural number system we have 0 as the smallest number, then it increases by 1, 2, 3 and it goes on. Like that means it increases in this order. So we have only talked about the increase of numbers from 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to infinity. So positive integer is very much clear to us that anything that is greater than 0. So what is negative integer then? So basically we haven't talked about negative integer before. It's new concept, so I am going to start with this. So a negative integer is a whole number. It's the definition, basic definition. I'm going to explain it furthermore. I'm coming. So a negative integer is a whole number that has value less than 0. Negative integers are normally whole numbers. For example, -3, -5, -8, -10. So one feature of negative integer is, like, if you don't know what is negative integer, if you just see a negative minus sign, then the number will be negative. So basically the numbers we have learned in case of positive integers are also expressed in this way, like +1, +2, +3. But in case of positive integers, if we just don't put this -1, it will actually make no difference, because by 1 we actually mean positive +1. So extra +1 you can give or avoid, it's up to you, but it's better not to include that sign. But in generally every digits which are like this way, 96, 54, every of these positive integers have a +1 in front of it. So yes, so but it's not given, because it actually giving or not giving doesn't make any difference. So yes, we can avoid, but in case of negative integer we must mention this minus sign. So yes, so any negative integer is a whole number that is actually less than 0. So we can say 0 is the center. Anything that is actually greater than 0 is positive, and anything that is actually less than 0 is negative. We can also say that the 0 is the starting point. So yes, let's now move forward. Okay, what is 0 then? So basically it is the only integer, and in fact the only real number that is neither negative or not positive. That means it is neither not a negative integer not a positive integer as well. So that's why, since it's not negative, not positive, but a whole number, so we actually categorize 0 separately. We don't say it falls under positive number or negative number. It's a different one. Like 0 is an individual. Okay. Okay, I hope you understood. So basically I have said 0 is considered as the starting, from where we actually start counting. Starting point, you can say starting point. Okay, okay. So yes, so I am moving forward. I hope you are a little bit clear about positive number, positive integers, negative integers and 0. So I am going to make your concept more clear by some examples.